County's Panola Road. Police tell us just after 5 Sunday afternoon, a 4-year-old boy was in a car with a relative when the child got his hands on an unsecured weapon and accidentally shot himself. Paramedics rushed the boy to the hospital. Sadly, doctors couldn't save his life. As of yet, no arrests have been announced. On the same day, Atlanta police announced charges have been filed in the shooting death of Kamani Mack. The 9-year-old was killed last week after being shot in a southeast Atlanta apartment. A 16-year-old boy now faces a long list of charges, including second-degree murder, aggravated assault, child cruelty, and a weapons count. Last Friday, Kamani's mother called for charges to be filed, saying the suspect originally told police Kamani shot himself, but detectives didn't think the teen's story added up.
He didn't do it. I kept saying it the whole night. Like, my baby didn't shoot himself. I don't play about guns. I don't like guns around. I mean, I understand if it was an accident, but I mean, I feel like you still got to suffer the consequence.
That 4-year-old.
They're not all able to get away. APD has made a few arrests of 15-year-olds for car break-ins from northeast Atlanta. I'm Morse Diggs, Fox 5 News.
Wrong place to leave a scooter. Right in the wheelchair ramp. How unintelligent. This guy ain't figured it out yet. Ain't figured it out yet.
What time do we feed the walls? From the way you and Buddy were talking, I thought we'd be sleeping in a barn, but I love this place. It's so woodsy.
And furry.
And dusty. Look, before we fall in love with this place, what do you say? We check on what we're going to sleep on, huh?
The Wobbit, the bedroom's over here.
Are you supposed to have a ukulele? That's right.
I'll go help Buddy with the rest of the stuff.
Sure.
They're not afraid to fight against evil.
Malko says there are ways people here in the U.S. can help people in Ukraine. You can find much more information about how to do that on our website, Fox 5 Atlanta.
Tonight, it is moving just north of Kyiv. The large deployment of ground forces is made up of hundreds of military vehicles. The Pentagon says although Russia has faced setbacks, it still has significant combat power, which means the fight could grow more deadly. Now, the movement comes as officials from Ukraine and Russia sat down for diplomatic talks today, but the sky lit up from suspected surface-to-air missiles just moments after those talks ended for the day. Negotiations are expected to continue, but the Ukrainians say they're not optimistic, and the Russians remain defiant.
Russia did not start military actions. Russia is putting an end to them.
Yeah, not really. Well, today, Russian President Vladimir Putin called the U.S. and its allies an empire of lies and placed his nuclear forces on high alert, a move the State Department called dangerous. NATO has condemned the statements made by Putin.
The mass exodus of refugees from Ukraine to border countries continues as the war in Ukraine rages on. The United Nations estimates more than 500,000 refugees have already fled to safety. But the rush to get out has been even more challenging for West African medical students.
The end of a meeting between the two nations aimed at ending the war. The Pentagon says although Russia has faced setbacks, they still have significant combat power and fear that the fight will grow more deadly.
It's clear the Russians have not made the progress that they wanted to make by day 5. But that doesn't mean that they aren't going to adapt and try to overcome some of these challenges.
A 40-mile-long Russian convoy is creeping in on Kyiv, Ukraine's capital city, but their advance is being blocked by fierce Ukrainian fighters on the ground, putting up a resistance. Well, more Metro Atlanta school districts are changing on.
There's still long queues of people to get out, traffic jams, trying to find any way to find their safe route, their escape route.
I'm sure that we will see them soon. So the stay will be, we will have the volunteers, and we will do what we can do here in Kyiv.
International students say that they're also working with their countries to leave the war-torn nation. Universities in Ukraine say that they're unable to provide any assistance, forcing thousands of students to hop on trains to neighboring countries.
Ukrainian residents.
That it was not difficult to bring all those people up here. In fact, you made it sound generous of our show to bring them all up, and you probably wouldn't want me to mention that you offered to pay our bus fare from New York to here, but I thought I would.
Will you do me one favor?
Yes.
Will you tell them I paid for the steaks? That's all I ask. That's my quest.
All right, I will. He paid for the steaks.
That's right.
With a Japanese traveler's check.
You got... I gotta holler from here. Huh? Otherwise, they don't see me and they don't hear me. I love this part, though. You know, the show. I'm the only one that likes this. And I love it. I wouldn't be without it. Let's play... Let's see, wait a minute. Sometimes, at a concert, I play a number called Sigourneyweisen, or Gypsy Airs. And this is very well known among violinists. Many of them play. Mish Elman used to play it all the time. And, all right, give me the introduction to that. And I'll just play just a few measures of that, and then we'll play something else, you know? You know this number.
Began circulating shortly after the vaccine was approved for children ages 5 to 11. The CDC says there wasn't enough time in between the vaccination and Omicron to provide optimal protection.
This is never... And for parents to make the decision for their children, not the government.
The bill now heads back to the House for more debate. Governor Brian Kemp has lobbied hard for this bill so that if it makes it out of the General Assembly, it will more than likely have his signature.
Across Edgewood, Kirkwood, and East Atlanta. She didn't know anything was wrong with her car until she got about 2 miles down the road.
The light turned green and the car cut off. So no go.
She knew she had just filled up the night before, but tried to put more gas into it anyway.
I look up under my car. $75 worth of gas is flowing on the ground now like honey.
Her mechanic told her someone had drilled a hole in her tank. These are the metal shavings. She's frustrated and angry.
This is very costly. Like a tank for my car was anywhere from $700 and up. Like some people tanks are $2,000. Depending on the type of vehicle you have. This is causing a lot of trouble for people.
I'm told initially not many people called police about this, thinking nothing could be done. But now, thanks to social media, more and more people are coming together. They're sending videos and images of the person they think is doing it and the car that he is driving, hoping police can put an end to the gas thefts. In Atlanta.
Tuesday evening, as dozens of Morgan County residents flocked to hear former Georgia Senator and gubernatorial candidate David Perdue speak about an issue that's perturbed them since its announcement, the Rivian electric car plant. Back in December, Governor Brian Kemp announced the company, which builds electric vehicles, is slated to build a warehouse near Social Circle in Rutledge. If it isn't clear from the red yard signs at Perdue's event, the people who live near that proposed plant have said for months they don't want it here and they feel it was sprung on them.
I don't want to live in the backyard of where I work.
Among the people leading the charge against Rivian's arrival are the Wasendorfs. We introduced you to the couple at a public meeting at the beginning of the year, and they say they now think Kemp is to blame.
After hearing what David Perdue said, and I feel like that maybe somebody is listening to us.
The governor vows the plant will bring thousands of jobs and economic growth to the state. County commissioners have said the plant was discussed over public meetings as early as last May, but neighbors say they were never advertised and they didn't think to attend until after the announcement. A representative for Governor Brian Kemp's camp spoke on his behalf Tuesday, saying Perdue's criticism is to be expected.
Obviously, Perdue is listening to his handlers that have told him that in order to make some political points or to get some votes in the primary, that he needs to now attack 7,500 jobs coming to a local community.
But it's clear the Trump-backed candidate isn't letting up.
He sold it out to somebody that really doesn't have our best interest at heart. He sold it out to George Soros, giving him hundreds of millions of dollars of our tax dollars with this insane Rivian deal.
Perdue says what Kemp calls economic development ignores neighbors' concerns.
Mayor, I tell you, technology, I don't understand anything about it. Every time I go to the bathroom, my IP address gets sent to my urologist. I don't know how that works.
Sure would be nice to move that bus shelter right there over here in front of that building. It services 2 buses that way. 2 buses come by this stop right here. And y'all got a bus shelter right there. How about you get that one moved down here? Makes sense to me. Parking deck structure going up. Higher. Well, this is how I judge an economic indicator right here. When you got construction going on, people spending money, it is improving. I hope it continues.